and gentlemen of this kingdom assemble and sniff each other and approve of each other, there's a general flush of delight which issues in grinning and flowers in laughter. And if we were to judge by the laughter here this evening, we could say that everything in this place was conducted on good taste, because we were all grinning, except for him, Turlough Carolan. His pus rarely radiates a grin. He enjoys more the grimace of the afflicted. But he did arrive a little later and unexpected, and he was half drunk, and he was not seen as good taste. You see, he's a Roman Catholic. The papist, he's risen so high in society we just have to have him at the table. But needless to say, we're all constantly appalled by his crudity, his poor manners. The point I'm coming to is that the society of refined ladies and gentlemen requires only one single thing, and that is teeth. Good teeth, well displayed, and the perfect management of every feature, and almost of every limb. Peculiarly graceful motion from the eyes, or the nose, or the mouth, or the forehead, or the chin, a suitable toss of the head, and certain offices assigned to each hand. And in the ladies, the whole exercise of the fan, and different postures in the body, and several times. Now, Mr. Clyde came over to me and he said, Dr. Swift, he said, oblige me by possessing yourself with a calmer spirit. He said, you're overexcited. Do sit down, he said. Are we worried that you will exhaust yourself before the evening has begun?
Eu tô só. No semblante, um sorriso tristonho. Felicidade tornou-se um sonho e eu só. Lá fora a chuva caindo. Cá dentro, resumindo a pó. Só, eu estou só. No meio de tanta gente. Você flutua na minha mente e eu continuo só. Eu e minha liberdade andamos juntos e sós. E quando um olhar sincero me enche de emoção, quando dentro do meu peito um novo amor começa a habitar, então nós nos separamos e é hora de amar. Fico presa a esse amor, na pura ingenuidade de colher felicidade. A liberdade fica lá fora me esperando, ela sabe que eu nunca saio ilesa. E quando eu volto machucada, quando dentro do meu peito o novo amor começa a escutar, eu fico me escutando. Que pena que tudo tenha se acabado. Aí vem uma saudade que me ameaça, que me fere, que me deixa sozinha. Um sentimento, uma vida sem graça, sendo a causa do meu desalinho. Tristeza que chega ao auge, ao desprender-se do meu cativeiro, flutua na minha mente e absorve meu corpo inteiro. Sinto então uma vontade de nada. Fico alheio aos rumores lá fora e vejo a vida despetalada nos dias que vão embora. Por isso, sorriso no rosto, como um simples sol de inverno, é a maneira diferente que tenho de tentar esconder meu inferno. A minha mente vai brincando de presente. E quando você me pergunta como você está, eu só respondo, tá tudo certo. Cago de mim, estilhaça minha mente. 20 comprimidos que me tranquilizam. Sigo tanta paz e muita amargura enquanto busco o tempo perdido me equilibrando sobre a sepultura. Pinta então no rosto um sorriso alegre. Assim eu choro a existência dura.
What language are you talking?
Eu estou só.
I sat, you see, at the head of my table, and Mrs. Winters, she sat to my right across from Miss Bleasdale. And then below them, the bishop sat to my right across from Mr. Clyde. The supper was upon the table. It was a banquet of 7 meats and 2 fishes. "Oh, wonderful," said the bishop, for my belly was beginning to get hungry. And Mr. Clyde said, "I believe you're in great haste, my Lord Bishop. I believe that your belly thinks your throat is cut." And the two of them fell about the place laughing. I even invited Mrs. Winters to carve. You know, it was a gesture to regain her friendship after my discourteous remarks at the door. "And pray don't contact my mother-in-law," said the bishop. "For as a man of the church, I like a good foundation." And when Mr. Clyde saw the loin of beef, he said, "Ah, Jesus, look," he said, "it's the noble sirloin." "Why do you address the meat as sirloin?" "You must know, Bishop, our King James, you know, he loved good eating. And being invited to dinner by one of his nobles one night and seeing a large loin of beef at the table, didn't he draw out his sword and in a frolic he knighted it? Sirloin." You were very fond of King James here in Dublin, Bishop. The bishop now regarded the meat with some trepidation. "Mrs. Winters," he said, "would you please pass me some fish?" She said,
"Why, certainly, Bishop. Do you know, Dr. Smith," she said, "they say that fish should swim 3 times.
"How is that, madam?" I said.
Well, she said, first it should swim in the sea, you see, and then it should swim in your claret, in your tummy, then it should swim in the bottom. Ha 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 ha! I said it should swim 4 times, you stupid cock. She said, "How's that?" I said, "When you're going to the toilet."
Ah, Jesus, we were having a wonderful time, you know. Wonderful. The trouble only began, you see, when the itinerant arrived. Musician, Carolan, on his travels up the country from Parte, Roscommon or Sligo or somewhere. And here were my other guests. And what could I do? I had to put them all together. "Do come in, sir." "You're welcome." He sat beside Miss Bleasdale. Her plate was still empty. She was trying to secure meat from the far end of the table. She was trying to get Mr. Clyde's attention and say, "Yoo-hoo!
Yoo-hoo!
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 Yoo-hoo!"
Yoo-hoo!
She said, "Mr. Clyde! Mr. Clyde! Will you please pass me
Will you please pass me
some tongue?"
some tongue?
She said, "I should like some tongue."
I like some tongue.
Mr. Clyde said, "I'd only be too happy to give you some tongue, Miss Bleasdale. But I said that 1 tongue is enough for a woman." And then the bishop got the long thick piece of meat and he passed it out the table towards her and he said, "Look," he said, "here is one piece of a tongue that never told a lie." And then eventually somebody actually did speak to Carolan. It was Mr. Clyde again, the journalist. Being from Dublin, he's supposed to know everybody's business.